Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 with my continuing look at Hearts of Iron 3's Black Ice 10.41. We're going to continue this. Oh, you don't see it? Okay. I'm not sure if it just went away or something. Exurgent, can you try posting the link on Twitch? And I don't know, can approve it because sometimes they're skittish, and I understand about external links. Yeah, if you would try to get that again. We don't want to pay money for fuel. No money for fuel. And that way, if you do it on there, I don't know. And it should show up on the screen then for the YouTube viewers as well. They may have to type it for themselves, but at least it would be there. I like Twitch has some better features than YouTube for live streaming, especially like Bill. Satur. Yeah, you're a bit late. Started about 3 hours ago. We got about another hour left, Suter. But that's the normal start time. If you for Saturday and Sundays. Soviet Union money for crude oil. Yes, free Exurgent over there. In a way, it's a little better to be on Twitch because both the YouTube viewers and the Twitch viewers get to see what you type. Where if you are just on... Yes, okay, good. Well, that one's coming through. Twitter, free Exurgent. Let's all want to be on production. Reduce that down. That's still going at that rate. That's coming down there, and this is going to get reduced down to that. Very good. It went through without a hiccup, so that's good. Okay, now spawn unit. Let's add in another group of bombers, it looks like. So those watching later on YouTube, you can seen recently on your screen the Twitter link for free Exurgent, as he's called there, Twitter account, which he has. He's a very good miniature. Yes, it would be very good models, but it's wargaming figures really is what I would think. But to an artistic level, that's a model level that he produces that are really good paint. So if you want to check those out, very worth following. Okay, okay. Brigade command structure, which I think we're going to. No, that was under here. Yeah, there we leave that going. And air liaison, which is also this here, which we want to stop at the moment. Let's add SSHQs. Now let's get it a little. It's the other thing we need to build is more transport planes. The only thing that really have kept some of my games going and pushing east into Russia are transport planes and transporting supplies. So they're expensive, you need a lot, but it's about the only thing that I can really say that allows me to produce that. Now the ones you really want are these, the heavy transports, but as you can see they are rather expensive. 83 ICs for a little over a year. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with these to get the practicals down, and these will also be useful. These aren't just like junk that won't get used. Let's walk one of these up, actually up into here, so it's actually getting some production done. Okay, Goring's 4-year plans continue. Good. Okay, so don't worry about the when it says lose. That's really gain. But so gain some industry, get some steel refineries, gain a coal field 2 level and set in there, and rares extraction in Dresden. Okay, we could skip the year, but no, we want this. Great Hong Kong Typhoon, expand our industry, very good. Now we're a little under on money. They have money, USA that is. See if we can sell them some supplies. There we go. Hello, Martin. How you doing today? Gun ability, twin engineer plane has advanced. Well, let's start pushing ahead there. I'm doing all right. I guess this is for Martin and everybody else. I'm dreading a few things. one starting to mod TRE and how much work it's going to take to get it to the new one. And I'm both. I like making events and developing things for TRE and similar type modding. I don't like having to do upgrades from one version of the game to the next version of the game or the mods. So that part I'm dreading because it's a lot of work to re-achieve what was already achieved. So that is something that is on my mind a bit, but infantry unit combined arms. Okay, we got all of these in here that are 37 operating or being researched, I should say. Let's do naval strike tactics. Great. Just please post the link over in the Discord forum and people can see that. That'd be great. And everybody out there, you should, and I, on the later video, post a link. And hey, Arno, if you want to be a good moderator still, if you could post maybe on YouTube and on Twitch, link to our Discord server. And you can even make it one that's, if you know how to do it, make it so it's permanently available, not just for a day or two or whatever. Okay. Because it's a little more work for me to dig in and do all that, but if you're available. Okay, small warship damage control. I'm always trying to get more people into the Discord server. Good things to hang out. Okay, so that is done. A lot of good stuff going on. And as Martin might be able to tell you, sometimes you get to have unscheduled, advertised live shows. There. Okay, so we've got these transports about ready to get into more production. Good. We want to be good. Oh, if you would post the link to the Discord server, Arno, I don't know if you were listening or you were here, in both YouTube and Twitch. And if you know how to have it go in and do it for, you know, a permanent link and not one that goes dead after a while. Yes, Sutor, this is a rather detailed playing of the game, and somewhere between more detailed than a lot of people would want to play and a lot to just learn and take in that makes it difficult. You know, it's not just the idea that, oh, hey, you have to be smart enough. No, people are smart enough, but do they just want to spend the time to learn the game in this detail? Is this the game, if you know what I mean, that somebody wants to play, or is it too deep into the weeds? And I can easily understand that it would be for some people. Okay, the Ninth Party Congress, some more industry shows up because of that. Already back, well. Surprised you didn't get lost. Okay. Which of the Hoi mods do you think has the most realistic naval mechanics? I think, oh, okay, one, I'm not very focused heavily on naval, on either of them. the Black Ice team has actually fixed the surprise chance that is supposed to be in Hearts of Iron 3 for naval aircraft, naval bombers, and submarines. The ability to surprise and get devastating attacks and the guy who did it could maybe tell you better how they fixed it. They got broken by Paradox, and so even in the regular game it doesn't work. So submarines were very ineffective, as they should be when it's not a surprise kind of thing. Their surprise chance, as it were. They fixed it there. I don't know how good, shall we say, surprise works in it, but generally speaking, I would have gone with Hearts of Iron 4 is better with naval. But somebody who looks at it and played both in detail might be able to give you a better answer. But I would generally say 4 is better than 3 for naval. You never get lost. Well, good. Would like money for rare materials. No, we've already sort of... Oh, we do need more rare materials. And so definitely and there's still problems with naval in various aspects with the mod, but they're generally getting better with Black Ice. Quite honestly, for most players of Hearts of Iron, I would say are not naval focused. Most players. That doesn't mean there are not a lot of naval focused players, but it's just more, ground battles and whatnot. That is what is important. Okay, we need a little more, but we want to continue to build the reserves up. I probably should have said yes to that Soviet request, but we can do our own buy. Okay. I know it's more money than we have, but I've got a reserve here, and we'll see about selling some supplies to somebody here shortly to hopefully make up for that. Well, okay, yeah. One, you're primarily a ground European player, so you don't look at the Navy as much. And yeah, I know, spam out submarines. And you're sort of maybe presuming that it isn't a mess in Hearts of Iron 3. So to a point with both of these things, it's a relative. Thanks, Marcel. A relative idea of which is better. And then the mods and what they do to them. I don't know. And I'm very much, because I mostly focus on Germany landmasses, an avoidance player for navals operations. Avoid the enemy's fleets, as opposed to try to battle them. So thank you, Arno. So everybody can go to one of the Discord links. Thanks so much, Arno. I do appreciate it. And see some of Marcel's video that he participated in making. War in the Pacific I find a bit too scary. Looking forward to Alvaro's Warplan Pacific. I will be playing more of it. I don't know if I posted all of the stuff I have so far. Because the game... I have the earliest access to War in the Pacific, or not War in the Pacific, to Alvaro's Warplan Pacific, of anybody that isn't inside of the beta test that you have under NDAs that I've been and I do know that there's newer versions than I have, and so far all I am posting on my channel is stuff that I've already streamed for Slitherine. I just have it in a slightly better quality than the Twitch version that I'm cutting into pieces and putting up on my channel. And I think I have 1 or 2 more episodes to show, but next Friday, or the Friday coming up, I will be playing more Warplan Pacific. And so you'll see more of it on my channel, just repackaged stuff there, doing that. And so it won't be as scary as War in the Pacific. It is very much naval focused. Naval very much matters in that game. And if you're looking at something that isn't too detailed, it's focused for it. Probably not. It's not as detailed of Hearts of Iron, either 3 or 4, but it's definitely a Pacific focused thing, and it matters. So I don't know. It's you sort of the focus on it, and again, how much somebody wants to dig into all of this. Not all players do or should, or a game is good or bad because they do or not. So yeah, you can either watch it when I do it live on Twitch for Slitherine, or I will be posting the same. So I'm not playing the game on my own and just putting it on the channel. I'm just repackaging what I'm doing for Slitherine and putting it on my channel. When after it's released and continued out, normally in the wild, I may just do it just for my channel, but it's just another early look at it of what's already out there. Okay, we've now combination of lost a lot of our negatives so let's go with this horse vessel and the battleship Tirpitz. Okay, yes, lay that down and put those out. Okay, we are expanding our factories. We are expanding all of that. Now let's give it a day here. We just gained low popularity. Because, yeah, I do know Alvaro. I was talking to him, and I know he's still working on things like the AI for Warplan Pacific. And with the version that I ended up playing with, one of the reasons I'm playing the Allies is because of, at that point, the AI. He wasn't quite satisfied with the AI for the Allies' early war, because he's programming the AI as well as other things. And I know he's done more work on it since. So yeah, I'm very much in consultation with Alvaro on what should or shouldn't be done at this stage of development, in the game. It's because it's not released yet. Though they have, I don't know if they've announced it, but they do have a release date. I'm not going to say what I know, just because I'm not sure if they've announced it. I can keep my mouth shut and not spoil things, but sometimes I'm not sure whether they've said things publicly. So and so yeah, I'm just not going to say what my understanding of the release date is. But it's coming not too far away. And if they've said, and somebody can post it. I don't know. I mean, you know, if it's like listed on their site or something. Yeah, it's going to be a while, and I'm not going to say what I think it might be. No, I want to come to diplomacy here. Okay, have we been enough time? Yeah, no, not for the Soviet Union. Let's do how far down? Let's do sell 5 money worth to the USA. There we go. And because, like, I'm streaming, you know, didn't stream it this week, but we'll be streaming it next week, and streamed it the week before this, so I'm not playing any faster than what I'm streaming, so things are evolving faster. Okay, yep, okay, that's what I thought it was. Because I've been given a schedule, and one of the schedules was release day stream. So, yes, if they've set it out news, then great. I just didn't know if I knew it was the release day stream, because that was for me to know, or whether they had put it out there yet. I don't want to steal their thunder until I know they've stated it. And although I do sort of keep up with things, I sort of forget to. Yeah, exactly. Better safe than sorry, unless I'm sure they said it. And because I was reminded of this, and because they may have said it in the tea time with Alvaro, and I know I was there watching, listening, getting ready to play it after he, talked about it, and with Marco. Yeah, in tea time I played it right after that for them, and they probably said it then or something, and I just, don't remember. And when I get that information through private communications, I'm always, yeah, well, that too. I'm getting old as well. I'm always a little concerned about what I should say or not when I hear it through a private communication like that. Okay, heavy armor designs have advanced. Oh, that I hate that image. I hate that image with a passion. Heavy armor designs. Okay. Yeah, we'll do armor plate thickness. I hate this image so much that I went and made my own and named it the same. So with TRE, you don't see it. That's just a modern fantasy patch that they have there, and it's so crude, as you can see, made. So it's modern fantasy, and it's crudely made. I mean, again, the SS, Totenkopf particularly, evil, evil, evil. Don't take anything for what I say as other than it's evil, evil, evil. But at least they had quality designs, both in aesthetics, the way that it looks, and as well as the way it's made. So yes, they're an evil group, but their patches and whatnot looked good, for quality and again for aesthetics. Again, evil looking good doesn't mean you're not evil. So this isn't like some sort of wannabe sneaky endorsement of them. Okay, 7.3 till December. Okay, well, not that long. Okay, good. So yeah, because it could come off what I just said if I didn't preface that as that they're evil. But yeah, okay, so when we now have the SSTV inspector, which didn't, well, yeah, what do you do here? What do you do here? Because it has the SS Totenkopf Standarte #1 here as Theodore Eicke, and he probably was that, but he was also the inspectorate. We'll give it to this guy, whoever he is. I don't know him right offhand, but is under Theodore, right? Let's find T here. T, okay. No, it's under IK. Right? Yeah, it was under IK. It's under E. There, yeah, there we go. There we go. You should be trying to. Yeah, the patch. The patch, and well, see, so the patch ruins the rest of the image. Um, yeah, so yeah, I don't, I do admire a lot of, well, all the German army uniforms for the branches, I do admire as quality and nice looking uniforms. And I'm a bit of a, history nerd when it comes to them. But that doesn't mean I don't think the SS weren't evil or any sort of actual endorsement of actions or views or any of that kind of stuff. And so that's a god awful, some sort of weird biker patch that whoever used that. So it's bad history, it's bad quality, and it just makes me revolt from it. Okay, Spanish state. Okay, so we ended the Spanish Civil War, or they've ended it. Land power. We've gotten enough units that we're now a land power, so we have that, and artillery unit training has advanced. Artillery unit training. There we go. So yeah. So when you get it, because I am such a image-oriented person, I just have a revolting reaction to that image. Let's do that because it'll take longer. Get that started. Okay, let's also get this up here. Lock that in. Move that to what it needs. Move that to what it needs. So that we are doing something in that kind of frame. No, don't want to buy fuel. Yeah, but the image to me is the photo. Yeah, the photo itself wasn't a bad photo, but the image is the mixture of the patch and the photo and put together, the event image as it's called. And to me that's just like ugh. Event images I look at now with TRE setting up very much as an art of just that image to me conveys as much or more information than the text, the title and the text below it. That image sets the tone for it. And also because, and it's also a bad image for that event. Because if you remember it, it was an image of Waffen SS troops in their Waffen SS camo. You don't see my hand gestures here, but this is not the Waffen SS. None of these guys, I don't know exactly. I know it was in the 30s they come up with the Waffen SS camo for Waffen SS units. But this isn't the Waffen SS. This is the SS Totenkopfverband, SSTV, Inspectorate, and then these Standarte. These are definitely associated with the concentration camp guards, and some of them are concentration camp guards, but they're also sort of Standarte. It's sort of mixed, but these aren't the Waffen SS. These are the SS Totenkopf. So they would not have had Waffen SS camouflage. And yes, personnel from these units go on later to form the Waffen SS Division Totenkopf. And Ike goes from being sort of a camp commander to being a Totenkopf division commander. Yes, that is. So that photo, what's wrong with that photo is let's just say from, and I don't know specifically, 1941. We'll just give it that date. I don't know. There may be able to find out because it may be in the archives with the date on it, but let's just say 1941. Well, what they should be is have a photo of the guys dressed in black in 1937. And I would be surprised, not shocked, but surprised, that if they had motorcycles and were had any motorcycle elements to it, a reconnaissance. These guys are, guys wandering around in black uniforms that are, which sort of using the SD symbol here for the police element and some sort of, other enforcers. So that is why we can't see your hand face cam went. Yeah, correct. I don't know when we'll do a camera. But so that is, so the photo itself is not a bad photo, but it's a bad image because the photo doesn't match the event in 1937. It's, it's telling you what's going to happen. It's sort of like, heavy tank development in 1937 or 38, and you show a picture of a Tiger II tank. Well, it's a German heavy tank. Well, yeah. Well, why not put a Leopard 2 tank? It's a German heavy tank, maybe, or main battle tank, I guess. But no, this would be the Neubundesfahr, whatever. I'm not saying that word right now. Oh well, but the new art or some early prototype that would be pre-war that would match that image, and so that's what when I did TRE, I really took it. The art wasn't just the graphical image coming together, but telling that story of that event at that time. So I've collected a lot of late war tank pictures, but I often need early war tank pictures because I'm trying to tell the early war story or the pre-war story, or however you want to look at that. And so, yeah, that's why that event image really, to me, sucks. Because, yeah, the photo's fine, but the photo doesn't match the event. And even if that is, a photo of the Totenkopf Division reconnaissance detachment, fine, it very well may be, but that isn't what we're doing now. And of course, the patch is ugly, wrong, and horrifying to me. So it's just like, oh God, the only unit you claim to be Waffen-SS would be, yeah, Liebstandart, and you're starting to form the. I don't even know that they're here yet. Are they? These guys are sort of kind of the SS VT is sort of the forerunner of the Waffen-SS, as opposed to the TV. The I'm not good with the German. So these Standarte are starting for the Waffen-SS, pre, and I would, again, I don't know the dates of Germany and Deutschland being formed, whether they were 37 or 38 or 36. This goes well before. The Liebstandarte for the SS can trace its origins back to pre, Hitler coming to power, and at pre coming to power, they're definitely not Waffen SS or what becomes that. So yeah, it's a developing stage. So that still not capable of not capable of speaking German. That's for sure. So yeah. Oh yeah, well they weren't active. Okay, well you activated as a frontline unit, true, but they had some of these units had proper military training, if you will, prior to going into Poland. Meaning they were training as battlefield units before the quote unquote activation. So they weren't like the sort of the SS that I understand that was a mix of I think it was a mix of some Totenkopf elements as well as locally recruited SS in Danzig. They were just sort of, they were trained to use small arms, how to load and shoot rifles and how to sort of be, urban, I don't know if police officers are the right term, but urban enforcers or whatnot, doing combat. They weren't a proper, in my opinion, a proper military combat unit, and as well as the SA that was here, fought in Danzig, but they weren't a proper military unit. But the Waffen units, what becomes sort of Das Reich, the division, and Liebstandarte as a regiment, definitely had proper military training prior to going into Poland. The Polizei division, maybe, I guess, does have some proper field training because it's also involved in the invasion of Poland. Yeah, I don't remember all the details. It's been a long time since I've read a lot of that. Okay, yes, you can have metal. Figured it might be something like that. Okay, well, the Spanish Civil War's over early. It was historically, early 1938 it ends, so they get it done a couple of years or a year and a half or whatever early. Good for them. And I've read the army or the generals that commanded, like corps level generals that had some of the Waffen units attached to them, really didn't know what they were. And they went and sort of like inspected and realized that how motorized they were very early on, before the actual fighting starts. But they didn't know if they were going to, what kind of training they had. There was very little contact knowledge between what the Waffen SS were sort of doing, partially because of general secrecy, but also just lack of talking to each other internally. Didn't really know what these units that they were being assigned would be even good for. Are they just going to be like traffic cops, armed traffic cops that are making sure the trucks and supplies are running good and no partisans show up? Or would they be competent, frontline combat fighters? They did not know what this was going to be when Poland was starting. Weren't used as frontline. Well, I don't know. Totenkopf makes it down here. There's a lot of frontline stuff in 1940. So I disagree with what you're saying. So, and Liebstandarte, I'm pretty sure is frontline operationally in Poland. So. If memory, I'm seeing money here, but if memory serves me correctly, okay, crude oil. Okay, we're going to get this crude oil because we want good relations with them. And yeah, I guess we can do. Oh, the police unit. Oh, police unit. Yeah. The police. Because eventually, it first starts out as just the police division, and then of the Waffen SS, and then Waffen SS, it sort of gets integrated more and more into the SS. And you're right, yeah, the police unit, yeah, it was more of a combat area police unit, shall we say, for the invasion of Poland, as opposed to a frontline division. But yeah, you're right about that. Sorry, I'm not always following. And there is a bit of a lag between what I say and when you hear it, because I'm coming through Restream then to Twitch, and then a bit of a lag from when I see your text back after you hear it. So yeah, I'm sometimes on to the next topic. And it would be less lag if I was just streaming to Twitch or just streaming to YouTube. And I actually think there's a bigger lag going through YouTube than Twitch. Why are all those countries buying strategic resources that's not historical? Okay, hi, son. Because of the programmers who make the mod. I almost said bad programming. I don't know that it's bad programming. It's better programming that I could do. They shouldn't be doing all of this shit. I don't even. I haven't talked today about it, but how I disagree with the resource or strategic resource training, not these resources, but the strategic resource trading in the game entirely. TRE will be removing it entirely from the game. Okay, now Soviet Union. Let's we want to come over to here. So it will be gone from TRE. If you're using it as a submod, it'll modify Black Ice. I don't know, and because like I was saying, is it bad programming? I don't know for sure that it's bad programming, because I don't know if you can program differently for different nations. I just don't know within the EULA code. I don't have the knowledge of that to say, like, yeah, Latin America, don't do certain resource trading. You don't need it. But maybe Britain, you do need it, so do the resource trading, or whether it's just blanket for all nations. I don't know the details of it, so it may be, well, it's just going to be its own submod. Meaning, what I'm doing, and this is what somebody can do to TRE that I'm actually a little surprised no one has done to TRE. My mod won't be a replacement. It will be, because the way, and I look at it is and I've since they've gone off the rails in some areas. Some stuff they're doing is wonderful. Don't take it as yeah, I'm not saying you disagreeing. That everything that I think they're doing is bad. It's just a few things I think they're doing are bad. The rest of the things I think they're doing are great. So we just have disagreements. We're adults, at least most of us, I think, are, and we're able to live with each other's disagreements. All right, so before TRE was just adding stuff. Now that they've sort of forced me, if you will, in my mind, to change some core elements of their game, now that they've opened the door, I feel more free to change more. So it's going to remain a submod in that it will require you to download and have installed Black Ice. And then TRE will modify things for them. And some things that I have been, like the gross picture, for a long time, just simply I have a file that's named the same as theirs and it'll use mine instead of theirs. And so I've done that with a few events, just because. Now we're doing more. So I will object, and through the process, Paradox will step on them if somebody steals content from TRE and sticks it in their own mod. But if they want to have something that requires TRE to be installed and then modifies TRE in that they change some things, but it still requires my mod to be installed to play, it would be like Exergen's remix of TRE or something like that. And if you want to make that mod, you can do it because it still requires my mod, and then you're just making your own submod. So every player would know that they're playing a submod of my mod, so it's whatever they see, it's your reinterpretation of my mod, and that's fine so long as it requires my mod to be installed for your mod to work. And so TRE won't replace the need to install Black Ice, but may do more and more of a remix of Black Ice, not a replacement. Not, you don't need that, so it won't be a standalone situation. If I were to make a standalone TRE, it would be based off the base game and not all of the Black Ice stuff. That's sort of the thing that I built for Hearts of Iron 4 that is unreleased, was TRE for the base game at the time, though the game has developed since then. So it won't become its own independent mod. But and I really don't want to do a major remix of, or a standalone version of something that's on the scale of Black Ice. I don't want to do that. If somebody wants to make another really good major mod, fine, and we can make a TRE version for it. Fine. Okay, so these are 7.5%, but until January 38. Oh boy, just for one division, but yeah. Okay. Yes. Is there no. Exurgent is claiming that he wants to help me update TRE, which I'm believing that. I'm just saying it that way. We'll see how much we can do. I need some help, or I would like some help. I mean, I could do it eventually. Updating. Sure, plus one. So it's going to take a while to get things updated. Yeah. To 4.1, and I know they're working on 4.2. They've already communicated with me that they're working on 4.2, but I don't have a time frame. Not that they wouldn't let me into the program. They would. I'm just not trying to wait. But sure, plunk there. Should it be there twice? I don't know if that's just a coding error. Okay. Floor command, that should be here. Yeah, let that continue. But I don't think there'll be major rework for TRE between 4.1 and 4. Or point 4.1 and 4.2, that there shouldn't be major work for the difference between those two versions. So let them work on their stuff. We can work based off of 4.1 and then do a quick sanity check of 4.2 to just make sure that what is updated, what needs to be updated for the slightly newer version would be. But I don't want to wait for its release. And if they were really, really sure that it was like coming out in a few days, fine. But I don't think they are that sure, and I don't want them to start promising stuff that's just, and then have us wait and wait and wait and wait and wait for it and not get going with what we have here now, meaning 4.1. Well, there is a version for 10.33 that's I've always called beta version because it was always really super unstable, and I was unsure whether it was unstable because of my work, or really more my work integrating with their work, because it was stable before and not much had changed. But really it's come down to, in talking to them, there was massive instability problems for 10.33. I would not play 10.33. I've ended the last sort of test series. It is just too unstable. So either go back to the 9.1.1 or wait for whatever the next version that it ends up. So Valley Gallus. So I'd either go back or wait for the next. The 10.33 is just a god awful mess of instability. It just really is. Ground attack focus, and not just because of TRE. It's really, TRE is not the problem. Though the more stuff you add to it, the more unstable it gets. So there's much more there. So the stability is just, what I'm trying to say is 80 plus percent of the instability for 10.33 is black ice. I think about 10% of the instability or more is with GGA because of some of the things it's doing, and a small percentage maybe TREs, just because there's more, just simply on the more factor, and that creates more instabilities. I think GGA won't be a problem once, and he may already starting to work on updating his mod, but it will require TRE to be released for his thing, so don't think it's going to come too fast. GGA faster than TRE. But I don't think what the instabilities he adds to it, I think will be mostly unnoticed for most players. I don't know whether it would be the operating system or ground attack focus or computers or whatever. I think we are looking at, yes, there for that one, and armored car designs. So I'm not trying to disparage Revolver Hell's work, because actually his advancements, his technical advancements that he's used for his mod are just pushing the older game a bit hard. So it isn't bad programming or anything like that or whatnot. It's just like, hey, there's these new neat things we can do to make it better. Yeah, but it makes things a little more unstable kind of attitude. So, do you recommend other add-ons? Yes. The D-Worms mods are very good. I don't know if these should be here. Some of these should be these fortifications. That's what I'm talking about. I know none of these should be here, and TRE removes them. And if you do the West Wall development, it goes in here. I know the D-Worms mod adds some of these fortifications in, so I'm not sure whether TRE should remove some of these fortifications that then have the D-Worms mods add some back in, or what. And I don't know how much I should dig into that, but the D-Worms mods are good. Units of the Third Reich are good, but may need a massive overhaul to work with the new system. I'm not going to get into the coding requirements here now, but that would be something that needs to be looked at. You can also look at all of my submods will be updated. Tanganyika and the other ones as needed will be updated eventually. Mostly just install path for that, but maybe a little bit others. So really, Units of the Third Reich, the D-Worms mods, GGA, and mine. I know there's an extra urban mod. I've just not played that. How do you deploy units the right way? Battle Warlord. Sorry, I need a little more context for that question to be able to answer it, because are you talking about as a modder or as a player, or yeah, how are you talking? I need a okay. I need a better context, sorry. No, we're not going to buy more crude oil. The deployment feature. Oh, up here. Well, okay, you click on one of these units. I guess we can put one deployed. I'm sort of waiting to deploy. Click on one of these units. All of the naval bases where you can deploy it will be in green, and then you go click and it's deployed. And that works for ground units or air units to air bases. Ground units can be anywhere in this. Why do you play the early game so slow? Partially now because I'm talking to you guys a lot. Partially if I go this, it's just sort of zips along here, and you can see the sort of pauses every day, and I'm figuring I'm stressing the engine out because every day it needs to recalculate things. So playing it at this speed is, I think, best on it and most stable. I also micromanage all of these type things. I'm constantly coming back here and clicking on stuff. And I don't like the pressure of it's going fast. Also, you should never open the production window while the game is playing, because with the mods, we don't know what it is, but sometimes it will crash the game, and since we don't know what's doing it, we can't fix it. So you don't want the production window open while the clock is going, but there's probably only 5 or 6 things, events, decisions, something happening that will crash it, but they happen once in a while, and we don't know why or what. So we can't, like I say, we don't know why or what, so we can't fix. But it's rare, but it's happened to me recently, and it will happen if I do it too much. So yeah, and like I say, part of it is just because I'm talking here, and I need to keep you entertained and try to look for tactical focus and realize that yes, we have that done. And because we're down, I think, at low popularity right now, we won't push another deck. Yes, they decided to run their trains on time in Italy. The Phalangists won the Spanish Civil War. Now we have one more friend in the Mediterranean coast, as well as invaluable experience in modern warfare we gain. Our diplomats can now work to bring Spain to our side. Okay, well, I've not seen this event before, so I guess it's new. It does say the Nationalists won the war, and it says Phalangists won the Spanish Civil War. The Nationalists did win. The Phalangists didn't. The Phalangists are an element of the Nationalists. They're a faction within the Nationalists. Phalangists is sort of Spanish for fascist. Franco was not a fascist. Franco was a nationalist. Boy, I'm forgetting the name, not just blanking on, forgetting the name of the Spanish foreign minister during this period. He was a Phalangist. So Phalangists were in the government, but yeah, the Nationalists were a coalition of elements that were on the right. So yeah, okay. Just objecting to bad history. Okay, victorious. Okay, this is a rework of the earlier event here. Germany gets KG-88 activated until... Okay, no, this is maybe not. This is another thing. So until June, we get additional fire following effects. Okay. Now, oh no, it is. It is a reworking. Okay, so we have Conf Group 88. Now, I will tell you something that I don't like about this game. After a while, they have an event, at least had, I don't know if it's still there, but will come in and remove these Conf Group A. Well, I like Conf Group A. Yes, Conf Group A 88 didn't continue. Conf Group A came and went. They weren't always there. Now, I don't think we should be able to build Conf Group A because Conf Group A are a bit OP'd, a bit overpowered, but they did exist. And so if we spam these out, they would be huge numbers of German Conf Group A running around kicking butt. But having a few of them persistently in the game, because since we can't build them, and I don't think we should because they'd be abused, and there aren't nearly enough events to match all the Conf Group A out there, I'm going to keep the Conf Group A around. And the way you do that is by renaming them, because it will, and you don't rename the top one up here because that doesn't matter. It's these units down here. That's why I stick an A after them. So we've made this permanent. I may get rid of the, don't know why they gave it a fascist militia unit. Some things break Gamer. Gamer gets broken. Gamer doesn't like being broken. Gamer is now talking in third person because Gamer's broken for them. Why? Black Ice is purportedly to be a historically based mod, okay? Not a fantasy based mod. And so, why are we getting the Legion Condor? And it's a fascist militia group. There was no. Okay, well, the Condor Legion, or Legion Condor, really refers to the Luftwaffe element that is sent to Spain. Now, there are training personnel as part of it. There are also ground crew personnel, mechanics fixing airplanes and loading in, machine gun belts into the aircraft. And then there are fighter pilots. German fighter pilots fly for Spain. Soviet fighter pilots fly for the German fighter pilots fly for national Spain. Soviet fighter pilots fly for Republican Spain. They're wearing Republican or nationalist sort of uniforms, not German or Soviet. So the Legion Condor really refers to the air component of what's going on there. Now, German ground forces were forbidden, and if you listen to Military History Visualize, he does talk about how they're sort of complaining and does acknowledge that there are some German ground forces, individual personnel. He's taking more the official and or documented, but I have the belief, going from documented to belief, that very many of the German ground combat personnel of Panzer Regiment 88 or whatever it's called does fight on the front line, although they are supposed to, according to Berlin or the whatever Air's command back in Germany, not supposed to be in combat. Well, and maybe a few observers just to see how well their Spanish trained troops or tank crews or whatever are doing, but the Germans are doing it now. Also, which may be technically part of the Condor Legion, the Luftwaffe element, are the anti-aircraft guns, and definitely the Germans, maybe with mostly Spanish crews, but definitely I believe there are some complete German crews as well as German command elements commanding 88 millimeter guns on the front lines, doing both anti-tank and anti-sort of fortress busting direct fire elements during the Spanish Civil War. That's where Germany really learns to use, at least in the early stages, the 88 as a ground attack, or as a direct fire ground support weapon. So that coming back to there, but there was absolutely none, as far as I can tell, infantry type German component of the whether the Panzer Regiment or of the guns, and there also may have been some indirect 105 millimeter artillery guns that Germany sent that may have been German crewed, but it's all German support weapons. So a fascist militia group, now they definitely would have been supporting a fascist militia group, possibly, if we call it fascist militia, nationalist troops. I don't know if they're more how ideologically fascist they were, how phalangist they may have been. I just don't know what troops got assigned to be trained by, because there are different troop elements within, like I was saying before, within Spain. I'll check the chat out in a minute. And so, why am I getting sent back to Germany? There was a parade in Berlin only after the end of the Spanish Civil War, in which they quickly somehow came up with brown uniforms that weren't SA uniforms at all. But they weren't the actual uniforms worn in Spain. So either they got a bunch of Spanish uniforms and they quickly got them to Germany to put them all in fresh, shiny new uniforms. All the veterans of the Germans' expeditionary forces to Spain. And so there were a lot of them. And a lot of these guys, were there for 1 year out of the approximate, 3 years or so of the war. So, yeah, you may have 300 guys standing around, but there was only like 100 guys there at any one time, standing around in the parade afterwards or whatever. So they weren't necessarily there all the time, but they were there. And they were put in these uniforms that they supposedly wore. Now, they were nice, new, clean, and ready for the parade, not what was actually worn in Spain. It may be the same style, maybe the same overall look of them that were brought back, but none of them would be fascist militia. And there was also zero fascist, phalangist, militia, volunteer types coming to Germany basically ever. Basically, there is the Blue Legion, which are definitely made up of phalanges, but these are the set up as the Blue Division later on, and as a regular army division, and not as some sort of militia unit, meaning they were proper combat troops. But that's much later on. Originally, or not, maybe not originally, but before this, the second unit here was a heavy flak unit that was there to represent the 88s, the flak 18s that were used in Spain. And that works as sort of a secondary heavy fighting unit. But what the hell do I want a fascist? Why? What is this even supposed to be? Because there's no infantry unit. There was, to the best of my knowledge, no German infantry training ground type component sent to Spain. It was all technical stuff. It was the Italians were doing all that stuff. So you're breaking me. Are you going to let the Soviets advance and the Allies land to keep it historical? Okay, you're talking. This playthrough probably won't go that far, because hopefully before we get to that far, we will make TRE, and I will be needing to test TRE. So you're going to watch me test TRE. Hello, Mister. How you doing? No problem. Get here when you can. But we appreciate everyone here. So yeah. So this is why now. One of the reasons why there's two units is here is to have von Thoma in charge. You can't just, by event you could spam it in, but you're supposed to have two subunits. But why not just give us the heavy flak unit? I mean, we could transfer one of that heavy flak unit over, but now, what should also be here, I am also sort of objecting, no, strength-wise 700, that would be sort of appropriate. That would probably be about the number of personnel that would be left over after getting back, with some going out there. So you want to increase it to a proper 4,000 man, yeah. Now, it should come in here. Now, you see, here's another problem. And I know some of the Black Ice current devs watch this stuff, and I'm very happy that they do. And so but I'm not going to make individual. Why are you giving this unit coming in here you spawned it in here 0 combat experience? This is just the veterans of the Spanish Civil War. So they should have high levels of combat experience. That was sort of the point of the whole idea of this unit coming back was and forming a unit. Historically, this unit is broken up. The Panzer Regiment 88. It's broken up. Personnel go wherever. They get their special badge. They go where other Panzer units, and so they bring the experience of the Spanish Civil War into other units. That's what actually happens more so than this. But war against Turkey, like they plan to do, what would happen if Hitler declared war against Turkey? Turkey would be crushed. You got a lot more details beyond that to try to figure out what's going on with it. What year? I don't know that Hitler and Stalin ever really planned to crush Turkey. That's something that I don't think is a confirmed thing. But yeah, Turkey would be crushed. Either one of them could crush Turkey. It's more of why. What benefit would it give them? And we could discuss, and that could be a long conversation, so I'm not going to go in there. Could be a lot of the benefit, could be a lot of problems too. So yeah, I would have that as a flak unit. I don't need a freaking fascist militia unit, really. Okay, we invade Poland. Yes, more or less. Poland, meaning armies organized. Oh, no, I don't quite do the historical order of battle organization. Don't quite dig that deep. Thank you, Arno. Yes, it's always good if you give the YouTube stream a thumbs up. It does help. I'm just not that detailed orient of a player to set up the historical order of battles. Let's see, we can attach you to the local Luftwaffe. Yeah, I guess to the local Flieger Corps thingy there. For the moment, get you under that supply wing. No, it's not going to let us upgrade it to anything but another fascist militia unit. Just so that you know, Nazis are not fascists. I think that's some sort of trick Hitler tried to play on the world, but they're not fascist. They're Nazis. They're a different group, a different thing. Similar, but not the same. Turkey would have lasted. Yeah, I told you training difficult.